Hey, how's it going? FESQ here. So in this tutorial, I'll be showing you how I did this artwork right here. I'll be talking over a time lapse of me actually doing the artwork. There are a lot of useful tips here. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, so for this one, I actually start with a Utopia kit by Kitbash 3D. I'm just trying to find a good building to start with. I always open the Kitbash kits on another file, and then I bring individual ones to the main one because I don't want to overload the main file. Yeah, I'm just setting up like basic sizes and stuff and a basic camera. Okay, I wanted to go with like a pretty center shot with this. My initial idea was to have like the center shot and the other buildings like scattered around, but I ended up changing the idea and built kind of a valley around the main building. Yeah, I'm just tinkering with the sizes right now, and I started working on the terrain. Okay, you will see that for this terrain I actually used a displacer, right? And I layered both a gradient with a random noise just to get this valley look. It's pretty tedious to get this valley working right. I mean, working exactly on the center, right? But it looks kind of cool. It requires a lot of thinking, messing around with the nodes right there. I'm just actually saving the file. That's really important. And now I'm multiplying a noise with the gradient. Yeah. Okay, perfect. You will see that I'm probably adding a HDR just to get the basics of lighting right. I don't recall correctly what I did. Yeah, I'm just adding a HDR. And now I'm going to make the whole terrain editable, because right now it's just a displacer applied to a plane. And now I will add a poly reduction modifier, so I can get this low poly look to the whole ground. And you will see that I even add a displacer on top of that, just to get these pointy edges on the low poly. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm just duplicating the terrain to get a little bit more depth right there. And now working on the ground texture. It's really basic stuff, just a roughness channel with a normal map. Nothing that crazy. Okay, just setting up the normals. Right. Perfect. So right now I create an incandescent material because I wanted a background. So it's a really cheap and effective way to get a background. You just create an incandescent material and apply it to a plane right there. And the thing that I did here that it's kind of interesting is that I overlaid the sky texture with a ramp right now. Yeah, I will create a color composite node just to have a little bit more control, and then I'm overlaying with the ramp. This is really useful because you can add a little bit of atmosphere to the image, right? Especially right now that I added a pink tone to it. So it's a nice way to get a little bit more creative. Perfect. So I believe that now I start with the materials for the buildings. Yeah, so I just went with simple standard redshift materials, nothing that crazy, like standard iron, standard gold materials. I wanted to add really strong lighting, so it was important to me to have really reflective materials. Yeah, perfect. Because most of my renders, people think that I use a lot of neon, but most of the times I'm not even using like incandescent materials. I'm using basically reflective materials with a lot of light casting into it. Yeah, okay, so now I'm probably going to, I'm doing a little bit of housekeeping, like naming this stuff, because when it comes to everyday, you kind of go really fast. Yeah, now I'm adding the first light. It's a light on the background. So let's pause right here. You will see that right now this light is affecting not only the building, but the whole terrain as well. I didn't want that because this will be way too much light on the terrain, and you end up kind of grabbing the attention that I wanted to be directed to the main building. So what I did there is I went to the project tab inside the light on Redshift, and I changed the mode from exclude to include. This way I can include specific objects for the light to affect. This way I could make sure that the light was only affecting the main building, right? Only creating the silhouette for the main building. So all the light that kind of get casted around the terrain will be secondary bounces of light and not like direct light. You see, yeah, just right there. See how the light on the terrain is way softer. Okay, now I'm adding like a few lights from the front. I tried to have a light coming from the bottom, but it wasn't working at all. So I ended up getting like a straight line from the ground up, kind of creating this cool reflect. Yeah. Nice. And now I'm adding secondary lights to the buildings on the background. And I kind of had a hard time finding a good like spot for the light to reflect on the buildings. Yeah. And the idea was to have a blue light on the background buildings, because since the main building has a red light, I didn't want the secondary buildings conflicting when it comes to attention with the main building. So that's actually really important. If an object on your scene is the primary one, you should light it or should texture it as the primary one. And just make sure that the secondary objects are not conflicting attention with it. So right now I'm creating a disk to have like some kind of moon to it. And this was kind of funny because it was the first time that I tried something like this. You will see that I'm basically mixing together two gradients to create this rim effect into it. I'm mixing a circular gradient with a linear gradient. And the result is pretty nice because I now have this like rim style moon. I don't know, but it looks kind of cool. Yeah, now it's just a matter of messing around with the light's intensity and everything else. The bloom, yeah. We're really close to the end right now. And I think that I went, oh yeah, there's that. I tried to have a bunch of like cloners. I don't know why I did that. It looks really terrible. Like I tried to have like a bunch of rims. I don't know. It ended up not looking that good, and I kind of ditched the idea. So yeah, I'm just setting up the samples and I'm going to start rendering it out. Well, I think that's it. I really hope that this tutorial was helpful in any way. If you still have any questions, feel free to email me or even DM me on Instagram, whatever you want. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I will be bringing more tutorials in the future. Thanks. See you in the next one.